Okay, back to Aviary Attorney. Where we last left off. Very well. I call the police officer who investigated the crime scene. I call Inspector Juste Volerti. Step up to the stand, Inspector, and recite the oath. I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please recite your name and occupation for the court record. My name is Inspector Juste Volerti. I am a servant of the law. A scourge of the gutter rats. That will do, Inspector. We've all heard your monologue before. Whoa. Cocorico really is going for a speed record, isn't he? Now, can you tell us what you witnessed on the morning of the 7th of January? Of course. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I was called to the Louvre Grand Gallery by one of the King's Royal Guards. Did he just say o'clock? There I saw Prince Juan, King Louis Philippe, and the corpse of Major Howell with a rose in hand, and around 24 citizens. The citizens and the king himself all attest to seeing Major Howell taking the rose from Prince Juan's hand, and then promptly dropping dead. And what did the morgue uncover upon examination of the corpse? The coroner determined with absolute certainty that Major Howell died of poisoning. Aside from a prick upon the finger, there was no sign of external harm to Major Howell's body. Therefore, the poisoned rose must have been the cause of death. Putting the pieces together, that does seem very implicative of the prince. I have no further questions. Damn, I was hoping that the coroner's report would determine that the guy died from a freak heart attack or something. That would make for a particularly speedy trial, wouldn't it? But no, we aren't so lucky. Something else must be amiss in the old bird's testimony. Right. I'll tear it apart. Your Honor, I wish to cross-examine the witness. Falcon, wasn't it? Don't waste the court's time. A high-ranking police officer would never lie on the witness stand. I wouldn't accuse the inspector of lying. I just want to make sure that every base is properly covered. Ugh, this sounds like pointless nitpicking to me, but I'll allow it. For now. Go on, Falcon. Do your cross-examination. 10 o'clock, you say? Correct. 10 o'clock. Surely you meant to say 10 o'clock. I beg your pardon? You clucked. Like a chicken. JJ, do you really want to kick off this trial by picking on petty pronunciation peculiarities? I suppose not. Let's skip this clucking nonsense and get down to some real lawyering. From the time you were called, how long did it take you to arrive at the crime scene? Around 5 minutes. I happened to be in the neighboring Palais Royal at the time, so it was a simple journey. Then I'm guessing that Major Howell would have been dead for around 10 minutes by the time you arrived. That would be a fair estimate. Plenty of time for a bad guy to slip away, huh? That's definitely a possibility. I don't think the court would appreciate my wild speculations, though. Inspector, I would like to ask you about the victim, Major Howell. We have been treating this case as if the intended murder target was King Louis Philippe. But there is another possibility. What if the killer was trying to murder Major Howell from the very beginning? JJ, stop talking. You just said something very stupid. I could explain why, and humiliate you in front of the whole court. Alternately, you could retract your question right now, and I will save your humiliation for another day. On second thought, I retract my question. A wise choice. It's curious. We spent our whole investigation focusing on the murder, but I still don't know much about the victim himself. Exactly who was Major Howell? He was a royal guard, a well-respected dog who was getting on in the years. I was not friends with the man, but I had met him on several occasions in the past, at banquets and royal meetings and the sort. Major Howell was a stern, no-nonsense fellow, but he was a good man. His wife and children no doubt miss him. No doubt. Thank you for the insight, Inspector. Inspector, you say that there were about 24 citizens, all of whom attest to seeing my client deliver the poisoned rose. Oh boy, when you put it like that, our situation seems a little dire, doesn't it? Correct. We collected precisely 22 testimonies, and there were no major inconsistencies. I would like some further details. What exactly did these testimonies say? Each citizen attested to seeing the king and his entourage approaching the new painting in the Grande Gallery. They each heard the king deliver a short speech, which was on the subject of progress and societal improvements and whatnot. There was some applause. Then Prince Juan stepped out from the crowd and approached the king with a rose in his hand. Each person then saw Major Howl take the rose from Prince Juan, and each person saw Major Howl promptly drop dead. I see. Some of the descriptions of the man's death were quite graphic. He convulsed, twisted, and spasmed, said one witness. His mouth frothed like he were a rabid lunatic, said another. Thank you, Inspector. I think we get the picture. Are the testimonies trustworthy? I saw nothing to give me doubt. But surely there's a possibility that the citizens were bribed or threatened. Falcon, I can understand having doubts about 1 or 2 testimonies, but are you really saying that 22 people were coerced? Well, no. Having 22 people in on the same lie would be difficult. I was just wondering about whether some could have been misled. Given the consistency between the testimonies, I very much doubt it. Inspector, you say that the coroner determined with certainty that Major Howell was killed by poison. Correct. He stated the signs and symptoms were textbook. There is no possibility that his death was natural. Did the coroner mention specifically what kind of poison it was? He was not certain. At first, the coroner posited that it was a plant-borne poison like that of the aconite flower. But when he learned how fast the poison had taken effect, he noted that this was atypical aconite. Consequently, he suggested that it may have been some newly engineered concoction. A newly engineered poison, you say? Well, that only reaffirms that this was a very deliberate assassination attempt. Indeed. How exactly was Major Howell poisoned? What was the delivery mechanism? His finger was pricked by the poisoned rose. He even commented out loud about it, seconds before dying. All 22 citizens who witnessed the murder attested to seeing and hearing this. Is there any possibility that he was poisoned by something else? What an absurd thing to ask, JJ. You just heard that 22 people saw the victim prick his finger and die. What are you suggesting? That the pricked finger had no relation to the poisoning? That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't doubt that Major Howell was poisoned, but I do doubt that the rose was the cause. Unbelievable. Only a total buffoon could fail to draw the blatant link here. JJ, as tempting as it is to sit here and lecture you on the basics of cause and effect, I'll end this discussion painlessly. Inspector, please tell the defense that you found traces of poison on the thorns of the rose itself. That should alleviate all doubt that the rose was, in fact, the poison delivery mechanism. Actually, I can't tell him that. I dread to ask, but why not? We didn't check the rose for traces of poison. It just seemed obvious that the rose caused the poisoning, given the timing of the incident. Well then, now would be a good time to make a test. Here's a marvelous thought. We prick the finger of the defendant with the rose. If there is no poison on the rose, then Prince Juan lives and he is free to go. If the rose is poisoned, then the prince dies. But that's okay, because the punishment would be just and fitting of the crime. A marvelous suggestion. What is this, a witch trial? This isn't America, Severin. That's not how we do things here. Calm your feathers, JJ. It was clearly a joke. There are far more humane ways of testing for poison. I'm sure the inspector will perform his duty with due diligence. Actually, we won't be able to test the rose for poison at all. Why is that? Given the dangerous nature of the flower, it was destroyed by the police force. We burned it to ashes. Such unprofessionalism. If we have no way to know whether the rose was poisoned, then this whole trial ought to be called into question. Nice try, JJ, but through the process of reasoning by elimination, we can still deduce with absolute certainty that the rose was poisoned. In other words, there was nothing else at the crime scene that could have caused the poisoning. Wrong. There was something else at the crime scene that could have contained the poison. Something the investigative police blindly overlooked. Look at this. What am I supposed to be looking at? It is the paper wrapper to a piece of chocolate. It was found in the Louvre, the Salé de Tebris, for to be precise, and we can date its consumption to the day of the incident. You're not suggesting that Major Howell ate a piece of poisoned chocolate moments before he died? I most certainly am. Intriguing. Pretty convincing. Do you see this wrapper at the crime scene for yourself, Inspector? The police force does not have the time nor the resources to trawl every piece of trash at every crime scene, I'm afraid. In other words, you overlooked it. Astounding unprofessionalism. The prosecution is right to be disgusted by a disgraceful display, Inspector. I offer my apologies, Your Honor. I don't want your apologies. I want you to do your damn job properly. Get off the witness podium before I kick you off myself. As you wish. I'll take my leave. Until next time, messieurs. So let me get this straight. This chocolate wrapper was found at the crime scene. Correct. And you have reason to believe it was consumed on the day of the incident. I do. I have an expert food-tasting witness who is willing to testify, if need be. You have a foodie witness? I don't recall anyone like that. Who on earth are you talking about, Falcon? Oh, I see. But do you know for certain that Major Howell consumed the chocolate? Well, that is a fact that we are still investigating. I see. And do you have any evidence that this chocolate was in fact poisoned? Again, that is something that may require a little more time to definitively prove. So then, in actuality, you do not have evidence that Major Howell consumed some poisoned chocolate. Instead, you have a solitary piece of rubbish that you plucked straight out of the gutter. That's weak, even for you, JJ. Let's move things along. I have another witness I would like to summon. He is a man who claims to have had an excellent view of the people going in and out of the Louvre at the time of the incident. I call upon Monsieur Toussaint Kingley. Could the witness please approach the stand and recite the oath? Hello. Oh, right, the oath. I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please state your full name and occupation for the court record. My name is Toussaint Kingley, and I am a person who fishes. A person who fishes? So you are a fisherman? Oh, is that how it is? I thought the French justice system was better than this. I beg your pardon? Here comes Toussaint Kingley, the kingfisher. Clearly he must be a fisherman, because, didn't you hear, all kingfishers are fishermen. Well, you are carrying a fishing rod. And? Can a man not carry a fishing rod, reel, and bait without being branded a fisherman? Look, the prosecutor is carrying a riding crop. Clearly, he must be a horse jockey. Oh, for pity's sake. Fine, we can list your occupation as person who fishes and not fisherman. Thank you. Actually, why do you carry a riding crop, Servant? I've never seen you ride a horse. I don't know, JJ. Why do you, a 30-something-year-old with no health problems, carry a cane? This is veering quite far off the course. Could the prosecution please get back to his questions? Of course, Your Honor. Monsieur Kingley, is it true that you were nearby the Louvre at the time of the incident? Yes, I was sitting on a railing of the Pont des Arts. The Pont des Arts. That's the new bridge that was just a stone's throw from the Louvre's southern entrance, correct? That's right. And what were you doing at the time of the incident? I was fishing. Pfft, kingfishers. Am I right, Falcon? So, you would have had plenty of opportunity to see the people who entered and exited the palace. Can you tell us who you saw? Well, the Louvre's a busy place. Naturally, I saw a lot of people. But at 9 a.m., I saw the king, Louis Philippe himself, enter the building. He was surrounded by his entourage, of course. Then, around 9:30 a.m., I saw this shifty-looking fox lurking around the entrance. Your Honor, I object to the witness's use of the term shifty-looking. It's a vague and biased description. No, really, he looked super shifty. I saw him rubbing his paws and cackling gleefully. And then I saw him take out a rose and carefully rub the stem. Rub the stem of a rose, you say? As if he were applying something to the flower, perhaps? Well, monsieur, I really shouldn't speculate. Of course, it was wrong of me to ask such a leading question. But yeah, it definitely looked like he was putting on some sort of powder on the stem. Wow, even I wasn't expecting such a bold admission. Members of the court, it sounds like what we have here is a direct witnessing of the defendant readying the murder weapon. The defense claims that the rose was never poisoned, and yet, here we have a man who saw the poison with his own eyes. I smell perjury. You do? No question. He saw a shifting-looking criminal readying poison and cackling near the scene of the crime. That's not believable at all. I think you may be right. I wonder if I have any evidence that calls Toussaint's story into doubt. Your Honor, I would like to cross-examine the witness. Really? This nonsense again? You just heard the witness directly describe your client readying poison on a rose. What is there to question? I'm just trying to uncover the truth, Your Honor. Fine. Do your thing. Go on, Falcon. Go make a fool of yourself. Monsieur Kingsley, you claim that you saw a shifty-looking fox. Yep, super mega shifty. That is not a valid testimony. All foxes are shifty-looking by default. Whoa, that's not cool. Mon Dieu, JJ, it's the 19th century. You can't just throw out slurs like that in this day and age. I'm just saying... No, you listen. France is better than this. We've moved past our need to hold back animals we don't like through the use of oppressive stereotypes. Well said, prosecutor. Slurs are archaic. Now we, as a society, can hold back animals we don't like through much more subtle, institutional means. Right. Wait, what? There must be at least 100 foxes in Paris. How do you know that the fox you saw was Prince Juan? Well, he's wearing a suave hat that hanged low over his eyes. I hear that's how they wear them in Spain. And I'm not much of a fashion expert, but the rest of his outfit looked quite out of place for the French winter. Is that all you're going by? His fashion sense? Oh, I nearly forgot. I heard him call a passerby senor. I thought that was peculiar. Well, that's him all right. Monsieur Kingsley, you say that you saw a fox rubbing the stem of the rose. Yep, saw it with my own eyes. Are you certain that the fox was handling a rose and not some other type of flower? Pretty sure. The red petals stand up quite nicely on a great January morning. So you are confident. You are absolutely sure that you clearly saw a bright red flower in the fox's hands. What are you getting at, JJ? Nothing really. I'm just making sure Monsieur Kingsley is confident about what he saw. I'm as confident as a crucian carp. How far away were you from the south entrance? 20 meters perhaps? 30? I'm somewhat doubtful that you can make out powder being applied to anything at those sorts of distances. Monsieur, I don't claim to have seen the powder itself. I said that it looked like he was applying powder to the flower stem. It could have been a wax or a liquid or whatever, but the guy was definitely putting something on a flower. I see. Well, that's nice and vague. Monsieur Kingsley, you say that you saw the king himself enter the Louvre. Indeed I did. Who did you see in the king's entourage? Well, there was the king himself, obviously. and there were quite a few guards, maybe 4 or 5, including a big dog who I hear is the guy who died, Major Howell. I think that was all.
I see.
It is to my understanding that the king does most of his work in the Palais Royal, which lies to the north of the Louvre. So it's a little strange that you saw the king enter from the south entrance, is it not? I know what I saw, monsieur. JJ, there's little reason to doubt that the king entered the Louvre from the south. Are you really calling this basic fact into question? No, I just wanted to make sure that the witness was certain of what he saw. I'm as certain as a cephalopod. Monsieur Kingsley, you say that you were sitting upon the railings of the Pont des Arts in the morning of the incident. Yep. Is the Pont des Arts a good fishing spot? I assumed you would be better off fishing upstream, away from the city. It's okay. You'd think the pollution would scare out the fish, but some species thrive in it. I managed to catch a 70cm zander from that spot the other day.
Really? A 70cm zander? What bait were you using?
Good question. See, some like to use worms, but I found that a good roach will always triumph.
I object.
This is completely off topic.
Sustained. Discuss your fishy business once the trial is over.
Monsieur Kingsley, you had a good view of the Louvre's southern entrance, didn't you? Yep, the Pont des Arts is a great vantage point for seeing the Grand Gallery's south side.
What about the other entrances?
The other entrances? You mean like if you were entering from the Tuileries Gardens or the Place de Carousel? No, I couldn't possibly see those areas from the ridge.
But of course,
that isn't relevant. Monsieur Kingsley witnessed Prince Juan entering the south entrance with flower in hand, and that's what counts.
What if Prince Juan didn't enter from the south entrance?
What if he approached the Louvre from
the Tuileries Gardens to the west?
That's a big what if. Do you have any evidence that the Prince Juan entered from the Louvre from Tuileries Gardens?
As a matter of fact, yes, I do. I have definitive proof that Prince Juan approached from the west, not the south.
Hey, I know what I saw, monsieur. I'm doubtful too. Go on, JJ. Show us this definitive proof that Prince Juan entered from the Louvre from
Tuileries Gardens.
Look at this. A book page. Page 44 of Don Quixote, specifically. It was found just outside the Louvre's west entrance. This proves nothing.
I'm not done yet. Take a look at this.
Don Quixote. This is the book Prince Juan has been reading in jail since his arrest. I believe he has had it on his person for some time. And yes, page 44 is missing. That was the first thing I checked. You do realize what this means, don't you, Severin? The defendant was present in Tuileries Gardens prior to entering the Louvre. That also means, in all likelihood, the defendant entered the Louvre from the west entrance, not the south. He could not possibly have been seen by Monsieur Kingsley from the Pont des Arts. What? I know what I saw, monsieur. A fine theory, Falcon, but maybe the defendant took the long way around. One can still travel from Tuileries to the Louvre's southern entrance by walking along the river. An extra 2 kilometers of walking just to enjoy the pre-murder scenery? Let's not say silly things, Cocorico. Okay, maybe the defendant deliberately left the page there to mislead the investigation. Now you're the one who's blindly speculating. It's not blind speculation, it's a viable hypothesis. You are fond of logic, aren't you, Cocorico? Let's talk about Occam's razor. When torn between two seemingly equal hypotheses, we must side with the one that imposes the fewest assumptions. Which of these theories takes fewer assumptions? 1. The page from Prince Juan's book fell out on his way to the Louvre's south entrance. 2. Prince Juan deliberately planted the page on the off chance that it would be discovered, then he took the long way around. How dare you! The nerve of you to lecture me on such basic philosophical concepts! I'll stop lecturing you when you stop making such basic mistakes.
Monsieur Falcon, please calm yourself. What is the point of all this yammering?
The ultimate point is that to testimony is fabricated. Made up. Utter fiction. No, everything I've said is the truth. I suspect that the witness isn't even a fisherman. I'm not a fisherman. See? He admits it himself. That's not what I meant. What a twist. Prosecutor, do you have something that will put this arrogant falcon in his... You have something that will put this arrogant falcon in his place, don't you? I must concede. You concede? On this point, at least. Falcon's evidence strongly suggests that the key component of Monsieur Kingley's testimony is false. No! This doesn't mean that Prince Juan is innocent, of course. All Falcon has demonstrated that this particular witness is unreliable. But I did see something. I really did. Alright, so maybe I didn't exactly see a shifty-looking fox. I made that part of the story up. But I did see a swan lurking around the south entrance on the morning of the murder. A swan? Do shut up, witness. Your word is mud at this point. How can we possibly trust anything you have to say? Your Honor, Judge Romulus, we're out of time. We're 10 minutes overdue to start on the hare vs. tortoise trial. Isn't that late already? Curses. I was hoping we could have this case wrapped up in a single trial session. It is a shame, but ultimately, an accurate sentencing is always preferable to a speedy sentencing. Yes, all right. I don't need to hear your moralizing. Court will resume this Friday, the 21st of January, at 9 o'clock. Don't be late. Prosecutor, do your damn job. Get this stupid fox conviction already. I will do my best to ensure that justice is served, Your Honor. A lot came up in that trial, huh? Yeah, no doubt about that. But something's bothering me. Why would that fisherman guy, Monsieur Kingley, lie on the witness stand? Well, it's possible that he was coerced or bribed. That's just what I was thinking. Maybe the real murderer threatened the fisherman into making up a story about Prince Juan. Let's keep an open mind. Anything is possible at this stage. But to be perfectly honest, something else is bothering me about the trial. Judge Romulus. He's acting without a shred of professionalism. He's obviously more interested in securing a guilty verdict than he is in discovering the truth. But why? Maybe he has a vendetta against Spanish royalty. I'm not so sure. There must be something else at work here. Excuse me, Monsieur Falcon. Sorry to bother you, but, this letter just arrived. I think it's for you. A letter for me? I wonder why it wasn't sent to my office. Have you been demoted to courier status, Rupert? Oh, hush, hush, Sparrowson. I don't need to be, pitied by a first-year dropout. Ooh, good comeback. So what does the letter say, Falcon? It's a threat. A threat made of cut-out newspaper letters. Whoa, I didn't know those things actually existed. Let me see. Falcon, stop your investigation or there will be consequences. Scary. There's no question that this letter originated from Major Howell's murderer. He, or she, must be aware that we are getting close to uncovering the truth. Sounds about right. But why would a person write with cut-out newspaper letters like this? Masking one's handwriting would be the most common reason. Although, I can't help but wonder why they would bother, since we don't have any handwriting samples to compare it to. We're still going ahead with our investigation, though, right? Oh, yes, absolutely. If a lawyer were to turn every time they received a threatening letter, they would never get any work done. Besides, with only 3 days before the next trial session, we can't afford to be worrying about petty things like this. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wow, you're right. Let's make those days count. Okay. So there's the private investigator, the chocolate emporium, the bar, and the Louvre again, for some reason.
Ooh, customers.
Hello. Is this the office of Renard Vulpes?
Ah, it's you two.
Mousy, what are you doing here?
Oh, this is where I work. See, R&M, Renard and Mousy. Monsieur Renard Vulpes and I carry out all sorts of investigations together. Although, to be completely honest, it's normally Monsieur Vulpes who chooses which cases to take on.
Mousy, we have a message for you. It's from Prince Juan himself.
He wants to know if the birds have flown south for the winter, whatever that means. Oh, yes, the birds have migrated successfully. But if Prince Juan told you that, then that must mean he trusts you. He must want you to take these. Go on, take them.
These are used train ticket stubs? It looks like 2 people took a railway trip to Vienna. What exactly is the point of this, Mousy?
Prince Juan said that they would help with the trial. See the names.
Gautier Signe, Nicole Signe. I recognize the surname, but I don't know who these people are.
Neither do I, really. Prince Juan just told me to book train tickets for these people, and then to make sure they caught the train. And so, that's what I did.
Strange. I'm not sure exactly how these stubs are supposed to help with the trial, but I'll keep hold of them, just in case. Let's go, Sparrowson. I'm done playing courier.
Good call.
Welcome back, messieurs. Have you finally decided to sample of my fine chocolate? Or have you just returned to ask more questions? It's just the questions today, I'm afraid. Let me think who to ask about.
Alright, so I've only got one more page.
Have you ever served a fisherman named Toussaint Kingley?
He's not a fisherman, Falcon. He's a person who fishes and just happens to be a kingfisher.
I don't have time for semantic games, Sparrowson. In any case, no, I have not encountered such an individual, messieurs. Let me think who to ask about. Have you ever served a hairy wolf in judicial robes named Judge Romulus? Yes, monsieur. Alright, have you ever served... Wait. Did you just say yes? Yes, monsieur. A wolf in judicial robes. I did serve a person like that a little while ago. On the 6th of January, to be precise. Did he say or do anything suspicious? Not that I can recall, monsieur. He was a pleasant fellow. Big toothy grin. Bought 200 grams of classic dark Belgian chocolate with a custom filling. A custom filling? Some type of caramel. He provided it himself, although he unfortunately did not bring enough for me to sample. Hehe.
What does this mean, Falcon?
Well, we shouldn't make assumptions. It may just mean that this judge liked to eat chocolate. But if the judge's purchase is related to the wrapper at the crime scene, then... Monsieur Hackleswack, do you think I could get a copy of Judge Romulus's receipt? I can do you one better, monsieur. I have the original right here. I keep them for tax purposes, you understand. Is it okay for us to take it, monsieur? Absolutely. Memorizing the receipt's contents is trivial, after all.
Would you look at this thing? Judge Romulus signed it in green ink. Green ink! I knew Judge Romulus was shady, but only truly villainous people write in green.
Thank you very much for your time. I'm glad to be of service. I wish you the best of luck with your case, messieurs.
Well, dang. How am I supposed to prove that the chocolate has poison in it?
I'm feeling pretty confident about this case. The big picture is coming together nicely. I'm somewhat relieved that Prince Juan came clean. His secret was putting the whole case in jeopardy.
Jeopardy?
We've still got 1 day until the trial, but how to spend it? I suppose we could revisit the Louvre, or maybe we should just play some cards at Le Canard, New York's. Is something wrong, Sparrowson? You're being unusually quiet.
Falcon, we need to talk.
What's up?
See, I was doing some thinking. Dangerous thing to do, I know. Anyway, I realized that we were missing a crucial piece of evidence.
What evidence would that be?
Well, we know that he ate the chocolate, but we still aren't sure that the chocolate was the cause.
That's true. If we keep pushing the chocolate theory, Cocorico will almost certainly bring that up.
So I thought to myself, if one were to consume the wrapper itself, then that may provide proof of whether it contains traces of poison.
Well, sure, that could work, but it would be incredibly foolish. Wait, were you thinking of eating the wrapper, Sparrowson?
Maybe.
Well, stop those thoughts right now. I'm not going to let you potentially kill yourself like that.
I knew you would say that. That's why I already consumed the wrapper. 45 minutes ago.
Sparrowson? Sparrowson! Doctor, is Sparrowson okay? Well, he's not conscious right now, but he is stable. I think it's safe to say that your friend is not on his deathbed. Oh, thank God. How did you say this happened again? It's a long story. Lawyering occupational hazard. Doctor, can you tell me what poison caused this? I have no idea. I'm an expert in mental health, not toxicology. But I have sent for a specialist who should be here by tomorrow morning. He will make a full assessment. That's good to hear. Thanks, Doctor. Take good care of him. Wait a moment. There is the matter of the bill. We'll have to discuss it later. I have an important case to prepare for, and I'm one partner down. I see. Well, rest assured that your friend is in good hands. This is terrible. What the hell was Sparrowson thinking? I can't win a case like this. You, I finally found you. Did someone say something? Running around like a headless chicken. You're one tricky lawyer to find. I told you to drop the investigation, but you just wouldn't listen. Who's speaking? I can't see you, monsieur. Step forward. All right, I'll step forward, but it will be the last thing you'll ever see. Au revoir, J.J. Falcon. What just happened? Where am I? Am I dead? No, that can't be right. This is nighttime. I'm just sleeping. If I focus and count to 3, I should be able to wake up. 1, 2... Did it work? Ah, Dame Cataline.
I can't believe how easy you were to fool. I put on a cutesy voice, acted all innocent, and you ate the whole thing up.
I made no mistakes. I did my duty as a lawyer.
Your duty put an innocent man on death row, Monsieur Falcon. I hope you're proud of that.
It wasn't my fault. Hey, where are you going? Out of my way, Severin. I'm not done talking to Dame Cataline. It wasn't my fault. Is that the excuse you make after all of your failures? I'm not making excuses. Failure after failure after failure. No desire to improve yourself. You're a joke of a lawyer, JJ. Don't call me JJ. That's all you have to say. How pathetic. You don't even deserve to stand in your grandfather's shadow. My grandfather. I'll prove you wrong. I can do better. Oh, it's you, Sparrowson. Have you come to berate me too?
What? No. I'm just here to tell you to wake up. Wake up, monsieur. Wake up. Hey, can you hear me? I said wake up. Come on, monsieur. Wake up. I said wake up. You're starting to worry me. Oh, thank goodness. I wasn't sure whether I would have to find a doctor or a mortician.
Ugh, my head. Where am I?
The Pont des Arts. You know, by the Louvre. In Paris. France. I just fished you out of the scene. Nearly broke my rod doing it. Wait, I know you. You're that disrespectful lawyer guy. Giro Falcon or Falco or something.
What time is it? Actually, what day is it?
You hit your head pretty hard, huh? It's the 21st of January and around 9 o'clock in the morning by my reckoning.
21st. 9 o'clock. Oh no, the trial. I should have been at the Cour d'Assises 10 minutes ago.
Well, you're running late. Take it easy, monsieur. I'm sure they'll be understanding.
If I sprinted.
In your condition? That would be stupid. Take a seat. Clear your head. I'll go get some dry clothes.
No time.
Wait, monsieur. At least take this before you go.
What is this? A dip pen? No, wait. It's a modern fountain pen. Bone handle, gold nib. This is very fancy. Thanks, monsieur, but this isn't mine.
Really? Are you sure? You were holding it pretty tightly when I found you.
I was holding this? Then I suppose it has to be mine. Thanks, fisherman. I owe you one.
Contains green ink.
Hey, don't call me fisherman.
I think I'll call it here.